I got some names, man. I've dealt with a lot of high-profile people. This job has taken me to a lot of crazy places, not just with cars.
Is there anybody you can mention?
Sure, why not? One crazy thing, we wrapped Mayweather's bed frame.
Guys, welcome back to the TheFrameShiftPodcast. Today we got a really good buddy of mine, actually one of the first people I ever shot with when I moved to LA. He's a fucking real estate agent. He's a beast at wrapping cars. He's the best damn rapper of cars in LA.
Appreciate it.
Guys, it's Emanuel Campos.
Appreciate you guys.
Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, you did it.
There we go.
The American way, yeah.
Yeah, give us the what's the other way?
Well, just in Spanish it would be Campos.
Campos.
It means fields.
Okay.
So, I mean, Campos is how you pronounce it in English. Emmanuel's not a Spanish name. It's
Okay, so I got that one right.
Name. Yeah. I don't know how you say it in Hebrew, but my whole life it's Emmanuel. So.
I don't think I can get that one, boys. I don't know if I got that. All right. So, bro, you cover the two best things in a man's life: his car and his house.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
That's a good way to put it.
Like that's a man's man right there.
That just gave me a good little ego boost.
Yeah, there we go. Now you got a line for yourself, bro.
I cover the two important things
Most
in a man's
important
life.
things.
I like that.
Right?
Which one's better?
Oh, which is more important?
Well, I think the obvious one to say that is most important is the house.
You would hope.
I would hope. Yes, that's a good call. I would hope that it would be the house because a lot more comes from the house, right? You know, you hope to raise your family there.
Mm-hmm.
You hope to build memories there. And it's a way of creating a place that feels safe. And when people come in, they get an idea of who you are.
I like that.
As opposed to a car, you can do, I guess, all of that, just a lot less.
A lot less and a lot more confined. More people see it, maybe.
A lot more confined, a lot less, and more often than not, you're going to have a few of those.
Yes,
More than a few houses.
Back in my hometown, there were definitely a couple cars that didn't deserve to sit in a couple driveways. Like very small houses, very modest houses, and then like a Hummer or something like that, you know?
Was that like crazy over there, the Hummer?
Yeah, bro, you got
a completely different world.
Yeah, no, LA is just different, bro. Like now you just drive down the road and you see a Lambo
for the
or
record,
something.
guys, I'm born and raised in LA.
Yes, you are.
And which is the crazy part is now I'm considered like it's crazy. Like, oh, you were born and raised here? How was it before? Like, bro, there's so many transplants is what they call you guys. That I'm the rare one now.
Literally, and Josh is actually another gem from LA. One of the few.
We're unicorns, you know. We spoke about that on one of our last podcasts too, where it's like, yeah, we're the rare ones now.
Yeah. And you don't understand. Literally, we're the rare ones. When you tell people that, they look at you like, what? How was it? It was different. He could tell you. He was different.
It was that different, though? What was
that different?
Talk to me.
There's literally like within the last 10 years, LA changed.
I've heard that. After COVID, kind of things changed
like 5 years before.
Really? Okay.
5 years before.
What was it like before then?
I mean, that's hard to explain, too, because
telling
somebody like from Jersey like yourself, it's still wild, but it's different.
It's not the same.
Honestly, from my perspective, I don't know his perspective, what changed it a lot in my area was them building the trains.
I've heard you talk about that. We've talked about that before.
As soon as they built the trains, all the real estate where those trains touched, boom, skyrocketed.
Okay.
And if you notice, when you watch where the trains go, there's more and more brand new buildings, and they're going up.
And
high rises and all that.
It's marketing right there as the train passes every time.
And obviously, you know, California, Los Angeles is green. They don't want people to use cars.
Yeah.
So obviously they're going to make it better if they build the newer apartments or condos right next to the train station so that you can take the train station to work. So it's all very well planned. And this was supposed to be done this way.
And speaking on the green part, I mean, do you guys still wrap 1,000,001 Teslas a day? Like, is that
now 1,000,002?
Is that your number one car in the shop?
I would be selling myself short if I said I wrapped 100 Teslas.
I probably filmed 50 Teslas for you. Like maybe
in a
more
matter
than
of a
that,
few,
bro.
a months to a year.
One summer, pretty much. Like,
now, why is that though? Was it? I heard it was just because of protection, right? The paint or whatever. But like, why is it
why
just
the wrap?
Tesla? Yeah, why are people wrapping Teslas more than any other?
For one, Tesla, especially the Model 3, was so massively produced that they didn't make a lot of colors. They didn't make a lot of variations. So when you have so many people buying the same car at once, you go to the mall, you try to find your car.
Yo, for real though.
Makes sense.
You go to the
try
Grove,
to find your
you
car.
know how many
because
white
they're
Teslas?
not like that. I mean, they look so similar to each other. So when everybody's buying the same car because it's the new car to be, and that's how LA is. It's very trendy. When it's the new car to be, everybody has the same stuff, and that's not the personality of LA. Everybody wants something different.
Yeah.
So for that specific reason is why people come in.
And that's taken place of, speaking on that, that's taken place of painting cars now. Then they don't paint a car anymore. It's just always a wrap now, I guess is what it is. That the new thing?
It's the new thing because it just makes sense.
I mean, I prefer wrap personally.
It makes sense. Hold on. Am I supposed to look at the cameras?
This is your personal camera if you ever want to
Am I supposed to be looking at it more?
No,
or
no,
am I
no.
supposed to be looking
Address Alec. If you say something specific that you want people to know, you want to have a clip or something, you can look at the camera. But no, just
PSA?
cameras are not here.
You got this.
Where was I at again? I was at
Paint, wrapping
yeah.
of.
The reason why people are going with wraps is the first reason's always the biggest in any field, the cost.
Yes.
The cost of a wrap is always going to be about half the cost of a paint job.
Okay.
Paint jobs are a lot more expensive, and you can get a lot more colors that you can't get in painting that you can in wrap, especially for the price. And a good example is a matte or a satin color.
I love the mats, bro.
So for say a Tesla Model 3, I would charge anywhere from 28 to $3,000. It doesn't matter if it's a satin gloss or matte, and which is a good thing because now you have a little bit of
Some choices
that you can pick from. But in a paint job, now you're going into specifics and specialties when you choose mattes and satins. Not everybody does that.
Ooh, okay.
And now the price just tripled.
And the paint itself is what's a lot of that price is.
The paint itself also, you got to know the product. Just like wrap, you got to know the product you're using. So, paint jobs can get very expensive.
Yeah.
Especially with mattes or satins, you're starting to look about $10,000 minimum. As opposed to $3,000 if I charge you $3,000.
Yeah, no.
And it's not permanent. So if you get tired of it in a year or two, come get a new color, and you're still under the cost that it would have costed you for a paint job.
And if you put like a clear bra on top of your wrap, is that going to protect it better than the paint
It's
would?
going to protect it way better, but the good thing is that the wrap world is evolving so fast that you don't need to do that anymore. Because now there's PPFs, paint protection films, that come in color.
Okay, so
it cancels that out.
Do you know anything about Pure PPF? It's a company that make wraps.
Yeah, there's so many companies I have heard of Pure.
I actually know the main investor on that. We could say if you ever need a hookup on them, you just let me know.
Yeah, we can look into that.
Yeah,
there's so many companies now. The thing about, I guess any industry, once the new technology comes out, everybody hits it hard. Everybody wants to be that company that sells it. So I want to say if about a year ago, everybody started coming out with their lines.
Okay.
So there's no point anymore to put a wrap on and a PPF unless there's a specific color that they're not making yet.
You just get the one that comes with both.
So the wrap has a built-in
That's so
bra.
crazy.
Well, it is clear bra. It's just now colored.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about this the other day. Alec doesn't remember bras. Remember
Yeah, I had no
actual
idea
bras
where that came from.
like the 80s or 90s?
Yeah, it was just like that leather or whatever material it was that people would put on the front end of their car. It's really ugly.
You guys always called them clear bras, and I was just like,
Well,
okay,
they
it's
weren't
called clear. No. I mean the one when you would apply them and shit.
I don't know when they came up with clear bras. I was probably too young, but that is what replaced it. And
so you can't tell there's a bra on now. It's just a clear bra, but it's a bra.
tell. Yeah,
How protective is it, would you say?
very protective. Trust me, man. That's the hardest thing to sell somebody. Is that it will protect your paint if you get hit. In terms of
That's
if it's
insane.
not a bad hit, like if it's a hit that is gonna take off paint, that's where it comes in. If it's a big hit where your car's gonna
folding.
it's not gonna help that. It's not,
it's not bulletproof,
and it's not like some sort of body armor like that. But like, say you have haters that want to key your car, it's not gonna let it go through.
That's crazy.
Say you have somebody who just nicked your car, it might look damaged. Let me pull it off. You're gonna be wow, like it's gone. And it took my experience to see it work. Like one time, a guy brought in a Ferrari. He had hit the front bumper.
Dumbass.
And if you guys know about Ferrari anything, just painting that bumper probably would have costed him 10 grand.
Oh my God. Just the bumper alone.
Just the bumper alone. So whatever he paid to put that clear bra on, which was way less regardless, that was return on his investment right there.
Bro, that's crazy.
Because as soon as we pulled it off, because it looked bad.
Yeah.
It looked like it messed it up. As soon as we pulled it off, nothing happened to the paint.
That's insane.
Oh, he didn't pull a Paris Hilton then. Remember that story? She crashed her pink Lamborghini or something, and then she was like, just left it there.
Wait,
She's
what?
like, I'll just get another one. Forget it.
Remember when we did that job for Paris Hilton?
I was going to say, can you talk about it at all?
Sure, why not? They never even sent us the video footage anyway, so why not? Yeah.
Go for it.
So that was a little different than what we typically do. Alec knows that we dabble in a little bit. Anything that we can do with rap, we will do, but we don't always do those specific jobs. And what I'm, elaborating on in those specific jobs is meaning advertisement raps or raps that have to do with commercial stuff. So Paris Hilton, she's known for renting out the Santa Monica Pier.
It's a crazy thing to be known for.
Yeah, she rents out the Santa Monica Pier. She's done it like twice or three times, and she throws parties there. And I think the year before she threw a party or she got married and she had a party there. I don't know. I don't really keep up with what she does. But the second year she threw a party for her new company, which I believe it's like a network company.
Okay.
It was like 101, some sort of numbers. I know that much. So they rented out the company. They were throwing a party for it, and they needed to completely decorate the Santa Monica Pier. But the Santa Monica Pier has rules.
Yeah.
And you need to follow those rules. So the rules are you really can't alter anything. So anything that you put up needs to be able to be taken off within the night of that party once it's done.
So rap is perfect.
So rap is perfect, and everything else that you can just manufacture that can just be taken off, hung up, stuff like that. So yeah, we helped create the look of the party, which was like her colors are pink, obviously. So the whole pier was like pink and glitter and all that. And we weren't allowed to film, obviously, because we wanted to bring you, and they told us that we couldn't film.
Drone shots would have been
that
so cool.
They would film and send us the videos, and
Never happened.
Wow.
So did you do the whole pier? Or was it like
no,
just
there was
like
different people for different stuff. So we did a lot of the vinyl work, like images of her. If you're familiar with the Santa Monica Pier, there's like the games.
Yes.
The game sections where you throw the ball, stuff like that.
by the roller coaster, right?
Yes. So all those places where you can, win prizes, all the countertops, all the backdrops, all that, we did all that.
Okay, so you didn't have to do like the ground or anything, like the
No,
walkway.
and then there was other people who were in charge of like balloons.
Okay, yeah.
Other people that were in charge of lighting. No. So it was a really good experience because we got to see something that we don't normally do, which is, I guess you would put that under party setups. We got to see everybody working all at once. The lights people, balloons people, us.
Well, you've done some movies too as well, right?
Yeah.
A couple, anything you can mention? And anything you say that you need to be cut, just let me know, bro.
No, I think we were allowed to say it. We also were a part of the Pepsi Where's My Jet? I don't know if it was a premiere or what you would call it, but it was in Hollywood. It was in a parking lot. They put an actual jet, I guess the jet that whole documentary was about. You're supposed to be able to collect a certain amount of points after drinking a certain amount of Pepsis that they didn't think anybody would be able to
and someone did it.
And some smart person figured out how to get the points anyways.
Yeah.
Because people are going to do that.
I remember that. That was like a documentary made on that
Let's
too,
say, so
right?
we were part of we weren't a part of the documentary, but we were part of setting up this little, I guess, premiere of that documentary.
I gotcha. Okay.
So we put decals on the jet. There was a huge brick wall in the parking lot. We set that up all with advertisement, and QR codes and all that. And that's stuff that we don't do, but we're, I guess you can say, one, hustlers, and two, just motivated, man. Because we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into.
No.
But then we learned, that there's levels to the industry that we're in. And we're at the bottom. It sounds bad. Car wraps are at the bottom. But trust me, guys, once you start going into advertisement wraps, commercial wraps, those jobs for a weekend are like 20 to 100 grand.
Damn.
And everything gets thrown away.
That's so crazy.
Everything gets thrown away.
So this isn't new technology then, right? This is like
banners.
So like what goes on the side of a building, that's always been what a car wrap is. It's just always gone on the same way.
A little different. So in terms of what makes them different is car wrap is like a sticker.
Okay.
And you can mold it on to wherever you're putting it. You can mold it to a wall. You can mold it to a sculpture. You just got to have the skills for it, of course. Banners aren't sticky. You would have to drill them in or figure out some way to put them on, Velcro, something.
Rope, yeah.
But the concept is still the same in the sense that they come from the same machine. Something got the machine and printed on it.
But when it wraps around a building or goes around the frame of the window and onto the window, that's a wrap then?
That's a wrap.
Okay.
When you see windows, those are wraps. They're just different. Well, if you want them to be different, because there's perforated wraps, which you can see through the window. Or if you don't care about seeing through the window, you just put a random normal wrap, and it's what we use on cars.
Okay.
It's still the same industry. That's what's crazy about it. You start to learn the industry. You don't put, advertisement banners or wraps on car wraps because they're different material. They're not meant for it. But once you start learning the business, you'll end up getting there anyways. So
makes sense.
A lot to learn, and that's where the real money is. Buildings, banners, billboards. Oh man! And the crazy thing is, like, that all gets rid of real fast. That never stays up.
Yeah, it's just in and out, like next day type shit.
Next day, next week. It's just the crazy thing is that they're spending so much money, and then it just goes.
And someone gets paid a lot to make those decisions.
Well, we worked for Netflix. It was a Netflix film.
That's a big decision.
That was a big decision. That was our biggest paycheck, at least just right there.
Yeah,
we had bigger contracts, but they were over a period of time.
I gotcha.
But that was just in a matter of days.
That's kind of wild because when you have that kind of budget, do you ever feel like you can't do it, or have you ever messed up a job or committed to something and then?
So that's a good question to bring up. So obviously, I'm telling you guys, when we took that job, we knew nothing about it. The only good thing about it was the guy that hired us for the job. He was kind of like a middleman, so he didn't work for Netflix, but he was in the game long enough to where he no longer needed to do the jobs. He just got them given to him. And he would look for the people. So he was a very big help, and he guided us.
That's good.
To what we needed, who we needed, and we went and grabbed anybody that we needed to help us pull this off.
Because if you do that job properly, who knows what it could lead to.
And let me tell you, man, about stress. When you have that much money on the line and you have those type of companies on the line, there's no room for error. And you might, look, the one thing I learned was, like, when I was speaking to the actual guy from Netflix in charge, when he was talking his shit, the first thing I said is like, man, this guy knows nothing about this. He's just hired and he doesn't get his hands dirty at all. I ate my words because he knew how to do everything. He knew how everything was. And he was hired because he earned that position.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So he was picky for a reason. And they wanted nothing less than precision. I'm talking about a huge brick wall.
Yeah.
They wanted it perfect. Doesn't matter how big it was. They expected it to be perfect.
That's what they're paying you the big bucks for, to do exactly that.
It wasn't like, oh, yeah, nobody's going to notice. Nope.
No,
it doesn't matter if nobody notices. He's going to notice.
Yeah, get it right.
Get it right.
No, so the easiest car to wrap, It's a Tesla, most likely, right? Most likely.
I would say now the Cybertruck.
Okay. Yes, even less
a
lines.
Sheet of metal. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's the hardest car to wrap?
I would say G-Wagon and Jeep because they're basically built the same.
Okay. And that's because of all the different lines and cuts.
The lines, the door hinges are in the outside instead of the inside.
So that's a whole time.
Yeah. You literally have to take the doors apart to wrap those cars.
How much does it cost to do a G-Wagon?
Well, depending on the person, remember that.
Yes.
But you should look to be paying around $6,000.
Okay. So
minimum. And that's cheap.
And that's still so much less than you'd be paying for a paint job or something like that.
Oh, yeah. But I would say for somebody that's not charging much, $6,000, but expect to pay $8,000 or anywhere higher, depending on who you want. You know, like the best car wrappers around or the car shops around, they're going to give you a pretty high price.
You're paying for that name, too.
That's what you're paying for, the name. Yeah. Just like every other luxury brand, or there's luxury companies out there, too, you know, that do celebrity cars that people want.
Every their names. Single niche, every single industry.
And it's not per se that they're better than others. Mm-hmm. They just have better marketing. They have better clientele. And that's all that really matters at the end of the day.
Bro, marketing is really the key to it all. That's really the main part.
It is, because like I'm saying, there's certain things where, like, for example, how do you make a burrito? There's only a certain amount of ways to make a burrito, right?
Yeah.
One place can charge $6, another place can charge 15 to 20. You might be getting a little bit of a better quality, but at the end of the day, you're getting a burrito.
I'm gonna say this too: a lot of those $6 burritos are 110% better
they
than
might
the $15 ones. There's a place down the street, bro. Yo,
that's what I'm saying.
Shit.
They might be, at the end of the day, it's preference, and at the end of the day, it's where you bought it from.
Yeah. Literally.
Because the same guy that's cooking it inside that place might be the same guy that's cooking it.
That's a good point, too.
He just got off work and he went to the other spot.
That's real shit.
So you never know, man. And LA's like that.
Yeah.
If there's something LA's like, it's that.
Bro,
there's very little middle ground. There's either the high end or where the locals eat.
And pretending to be high end.
Is there a current trend in like the cars that you're wrapping now, or is there a specific thing that everybody's doing? Is it just for, like, we talked about it, I guess, a little bit, right? It's for,
what's the go-to thing now in car wraps?
Yeah,
I'd say
it's like, because you mentioned Teslas, they have very limited color, right? But is that the main trend then? Is that what that is, or what are people coming to you for mainly besides that then for wrapping?
That's a interesting question. That takes some time to think, because there's every once in a while, there are colors that come and go. Like, for example, in 2014 to like 2017, military green is all everybody wanted. Because, I mean, it was new, you know. Nobody ever had it unless you had a military car. Mm-hmm. So military green was in, and then it was like Tiffany green, or Tiffany blue, sorry. Now it's like that. It would be called Naruto gray, that very light gray that's almost white.
I know
it's like that gray. Yeah. That became so popular that the car companies started creating them. Audi has it now. Porsche has it now, and that's the cool thing, but also the kind of thing that is annoying sometimes. Sometimes there is a trend that starts happening in car customizations that the car companies see. And they're like, okay, let's integrate that so that we can keep the money.
Yeah.
So sometimes that ends up happening because, from my knowledge, there wasn't any cars out with that Naruto gray, and it just blew up.
No, I've seen it.
And then like a year and a half later, all the car companies took it.
Yeah.
So now you can buy it that color. Another thing that got really popular is star roof lighting.
You guys still do that, right?
We still offer that, yes.
I'm going to have you do that to my Pilot.
Let's do it. Hey, man. That's pretty cool. And that took, the car customization by a storm, because essentially the only cars that had that was Bentley.
Yeah.
Bentley, actually it was Rolls-Royce, I'm sorry.
One of those.
It was Rolls-Royce. Nobody else had it.
I didn't know anything about car wraps. And I saw a random YouTube video. Do you know Marco on YouTube? He's an artist.
Maybe.
He has cars wrapped in white, and then draws on them for customers.
Oh, okay, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so if he messes up, he could just pull it off. I was like, that's so cool. And then Alec was telling me about you and the car wrap, and then I was like, oh, that's what it is. I had no idea.
Yeah, so I would say when I first got into it, right when I graduated high school. Well, not right when I graduated high school, but somewhere around the lines, because I've been doing it for about 10 years now. It was still kind of new. People were still kind of doing it, but you would see them every once in a while. Mm-hmm. Now it's really picked up, and now it's like a staple. Like, you need to have your car wrapped if you're somebody, because it's like I'm saying, it's just LA. You know?
Welcome to LA.
You need to have your car wrapped. So the more and more time that goes on, it's just getting more and more popular. So I would say right now would be the perfect time to start if you're trying to get into it, because you know, a few years ago, like this guy just said, he doesn't even know what it was. A few years ago, really nobody did unless you were looking for it. Now, I can tell people what I do and they know what it is.
Yeah.
They might not necessarily get it yet,
but they have an idea.
But they know what it is because they've seen it. Their favorite influencer has it. Everybody that they know that is popular most likely has gotten their car wrapped.
It's just like getting that
because, like we were just saying, it gives you an opportunity to make your car yours.
That's a good way to put it.
That's what it is.
Yeah. No.
It's an opportunity to make your car yours.
Do the shops offer wraps now as well? Like, speaking on what we were talking about a few minutes ago, are they offering, like, will they wrap? Okay. So that's still something they won't touch.
It's still more of a specific type of niche. The body shops will offer it depending on who they are, but more or less they just always send them. They're like, oh, yeah, I know who it is, or like if they're doing an insurance job with a car that was wrapped and they need to get it fixed too because they're in charge of that, they'll reach out to us and then we'll handle that.
That's a good way, just doing deals with the body shops.
Really good way, because you guys got to understand, insurance money is good money.
That's a different level. It's like hospital money.
No, that's big money, dude. Like, everybody wants insurance money, dude, because I mean, look, if I could just do nothing but insurance shops, I would shut down, be private, and just never speak to a customer again.
There you go.
Because they really just don't care the cost. If it's in the fairness of what it should be, they'll say yes. Obviously, you can't overcharge because then they'll look for other places that'll do it cheaper. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, you'll be fine. Yeah, you can put up the price just a good amount.
Don't be greedy.
Yeah, just don't be greedy and you'll be fine. You'll get the job.
Do you think insurance companies now will just require it to be a wrap instead of paint because it's so much cheaper?
I think they know when it's a wrap.
And that was going to be another question. Can you tell if it's a wrap, even if, I mean, you said if it's a matte, you kind of can tell, but if it's like a gloss wrap, can you tell?
Yeah, glosses are a lot easier to point out because the finish on them isn't as nice as a paint job.
Okay.
Because, you know, with paint jobs, there's a lot more detail in them. Like, for example, the color sanding, the buffing, the making sure that there's no orange peel. Can't do that with wrap because it's, at the end of the day, it's a sticker. So how clear it is when, say, print it, that's as clear as they're going to be. But for the last few years, there have been companies that are making higher gloss and higher gloss wraps to the point where now they look like paint.
It's getting hard to tell.
So now it's hard to tell, but as of right now, I don't know one brand that is just a very solid brand. They might look solid in terms of how their finish looks, but application-wise, holding up-wise, I wouldn't name one right now that is just as good as the brands that have been around that aren't focused on the high gloss.
Okay. Like you said, though, that the insurance company could tell that it's a wrap, meaning that that's a bad thing then, right?
No, like if the car got hit and the wrap ripped, you could see the paint underneath.
No, I mean, but after they get the car fixed, would they start requiring it to be wrapped instead of painted because it's cheaper? Right?
No, they can't do that.
No.
So, like, for example, if I think I'm hearing your question right, if a car gets hit and it had a wrap on it, you still need to get that part, whatever part that got damaged, paint that color, and then throw the wrap on it again.
Oh, so you can't just circumvent.
You can't just get the part and then wrap it.
Oh, because then it won't match with the rest of the car.
Yeah, because it's just not doing it. You need to return the car to the way it was.
Yeah, I guess I kind of meant like if a car gets in an accident and then it goes to a body shop and gets fixed, but then needs a paint job.
Oh no, if they did that, they'd be in trouble. Because that would be like
the metal
counterfeiting or just lying.
And the metal would just erode underneath or something.
Well, no, I mean, just how would I explain that? Now I get what he's saying. I mean, insurance are paying for you to do the right job. If you're cutting corners.
No, I don't even mean cutting corners. I mean, maybe I'm not explaining it, but I was just saying, like, if it gets done right and then it needs a paint job, instead of fixing the damage and then painting the car, an insurance company now might say, let's fix the damage and then just wrap the whole car because it's cheaper than painting.
They wouldn't do that. No.
Really?
Because you're not insuring the wrap, you're insuring the car. So the car needs to be put back the way it looked.
That makes
Regardless
sense.
if you put a wrap on top of it, it needs to go back. That's the point of the insurance. If they were cutting corners now, the insurance jobs would get sued. Insurance companies.
That makes sense. So, what's the sickest car you've ever wrapped?
That's a good question. Because I've had a few.
And the funniest one.
Funniest?
Both. Give me your funniest and sickest.
I've done so many cars. The coolest one would probably be the Ferrari, the Spider 4. I forgot the name of it. I'm embarrassed. Hold on, let me look that up again. I don't know why I'm having a
While
brain
he's
fart.
looking it up, you want to Zenify me, brother?
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Zenified.
They're actually pretty decent. I tried one and it's pretty good.
I'm not going to lie. There's 2 different flavors in here. So I'm not exactly sure which is which.
I think
One
I had
is
a peppermint
smooth or some shit. It's the red one, and the other is the cool mint. So we're going to see.
Yeah.
What is bitches biting for? Have you ever been Zenified, brother?
Okay, now let me tell you that story.
Yes.
Should I say the story? The car before?
Yes. No. My bad.
You know what? I'll take one, but do I got to take it now?
No. Here, I'll leave it right here. When you're ready, you let me know. It'll be right here.
So, I would say the coolest car was the Ferrari 458.
Okay.
Like that car, I mean, any Ferrari is badass, but
yeah.
And then this one was a specific trim. The cool things about those kind of cars, when they're specific trims and they're rare trims, they will tell you the number out of the ones created that it is. Like I did another one that was a Rolls Royce. I believe it was a Black Hawk. So it's black on the sides and it's stainless steel, I believe, or a stainless steel colored paint.
Okay.
On the top of the car, so the hood.
Oh, that sounds.
And the roof, and those tell you the number of like 500 that they are.
That's insane.
So I've done a lot of cool and rare cars, especially, since a lot of people have never got to even touch some.
What about the SVJ that you?
SVJ.
That was the coolest car that I'd seen, but that was the coolest car you guys introduced me to.
Yeah.
That I had seen at that time.
It's not as rare, honestly. It might mind boggle people that aren't in the car world.
No, they're common.
Lamborghinis are not that high end and not that rare.
Okay.
They're not in the same ballpark as
a Rolls
Royce. A Rolls Royce.
So you'd put Ferraris in that upper tier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nowadays, you can't even buy a Ferrari unless you've bought one previously, like the Birkins.
Really?
Yeah. They're getting very strict.
Damn. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I know anybody can really get a Lambo.
Yeah, because that's the reputation Lambo has created. And we've always heard what Ferrari wants. You can't even modify your Ferrari.
Yeah, no,
they have the rights to your car. That's the craziest thing.
You don't even know
if you modify your car and they don't like it, they will ask for the car back.
So many YouTubers have had that happen.
Don't give it back. I don't know how this is even legal, but whatever they do, they basically say that car is no longer a Ferrari. Get rid of the VIN. And you essentially don't have a Ferrari anymore.
Yeah, no.
Like you're saying, there's artists, there's all types of people that have modified their Ferraris.
And see right out the bat.
It's technically not a Ferrari anymore because Ferrari said, we don't want people to do that. We don't want people to touch our work. And they erase it from memory.
Physical stuff, though, right? Not a wrap. A wrap isn't considered.
Wrap would be okay, I think.
Yeah, wrap is okay.
As long as it's not going too far.
Yeah, it's more of the physical, but wraps have been a part of the trouble that people have gotten in.
Oh my god!
And it's crazy, right? Because you bought the car.
You paid a lot of money for that car.
I know there was one like famous DJ who did something. I don't know if it was Diplo or somebody else.
I could see Diplo doing some shit.
Modified it, and they said no.
And so back to us. They pay. He gives it back, but they're giving him the money back too.
I don't know how that works. There's
definitely no buyback and sticker price.
They want their cars back, and it's in their contract when you buy the car. And if you don't give it back, they erase it. So you have your car, but you can't really take it to any Ferrari place. Or better yet, I guess it would be like a pedigree. If it's not pedigreed, it's not recognized.
Yo, that's crazy.
They will refuse to work on it at a show.
It's not a Ferrari. And we know this because there's famous Ferraris out there that were touched by famous, car customizers like the ones in Japan.
West Coast Customs, maybe back.
Yeah, I don't know if they've ever done one that has gotten put on the naughty list. But there are cars out there that are not Ferraris anymore.
That's so crazy.
It's crazy. Why would you want to do that? Like, I can't understand the mindset behind that.
Bro, I mean, I wonder if Lil Uzi, I don't know if he has any Ferraris, honestly. I think he might just have the Bugatti and a couple others like that. But, I mean, he does so much to customize his shit. Have you seen Lil Uzi's car? Bro, he does. I mean, besides just raps. It's crazy.
Yeah, he does crazy stuff. I'll check it out.
Yeah, no. And even his raps are crazy.
He's already a character, so I can only imagine how crazy his cars are.
Yeah. So, what was the funniest rap you ever did? And is the funniest rap a good?
I don't know. It's the funniest, but it's worth being mentioned.
Honorable mention here.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it the funniest. You just don't get it often. It was a Cybertruck for Pride Month.
Okay.
And we printed. It was for a law firm that I guess sponsored the rap. Mm-hmm. And it was a Pride Month rap. So, and I loved the rap, by the way. So that's why I'm saying it wasn't funny, because once we did it, it was badass.
It looks sick.
But it was essentially a rainbow Cybertruck.
Okay.
It was a rainbow Cybertruck.
And
I don't think I'll ever do one of those again, because that's so specific.
I gotcha.
But like, it still looked badass.
Yeah.
Like, it was cool.
How about the Tesla that you guys had me shoot? It was the, what do we call it? The zombie apocalypse one?
Yeah, I don't think that one would be under funny.
Yeah, no, that's
but
just
it was cool.
eclectic.
And honestly, I hated rapping it.
Okay.
I was like, who would do this? It makes
it's like a black and gray camo.
And I don't know if I can mention whose car that is,
get you in trouble.
It is somebody who's famous now. Or they've probably been famous.
And they're a good client.
But I didn't know them. And she's so sweet.
Yeah.
She's so sweet. She lives in this cool house in Hollywood Hills.
Okay, it's a girl. We're 50-50 now. Keep going.
Tattoos. Good luck with that.
Run with it.
It's a girl with tattoos, zombie apocalypse car.
It's
you do the rest.
I see it driving out, you know where. I've told you before. On the road out.
Okay.
You know where I'm talking about.
Yeah.
No.
So as I was wrapping that car, I was like, who would do this? Like, is there people that like this?
I thought
and
it was
then
sick.
I went and did the live, my TikTok live.
Oh, was that the one?
No, it wasn't the one. But as I did my TikTok live, it was literally 50-50 split. People loved it or people hated it. But that showed me like, okay, maybe I was a part of the side that didn't appreciate it, but there was a lot of people out there that did.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
You don't know.
All
you got to understand, with creativity, we only like, for the most part, what we're used to seeing.
Yes. And the other shit stands out.
And, I'm from LA. We don't see rusty cars, but, you go out to the Midwest or somewhere, they like that stuff. They like camouflage. They like rusty Mad Max looking cars. They're into that.
That's
for real. That is Josh.
They're into that. And I'm not, but that gave me a bigger perspective on
we like the
car world.
Yeah.
The car world, it's now expanding. I come from LA, a place where a lot of car stuff originated from. Fast and the Furious were, filmed here. Lowriding was done here. So when I think of, cars, I think of like we know how to do it best, but that's not the case anymore.
Bro.
Car world is branching out. Everybody's gonna have their own feel on it.
One of the shops, the second, you guys were the first. Then there was one other that we were not going to mention. You know what one we're talking. You know what I'm talking about. But there's another.
Car world is small, guys. I guess just like any other industry. When you're in it, you know everybody.
But there was a third shop I would shoot for back then, and that was fucking A&G Custom Auto Works. I think I've told you about them. They just do lowriders and shit like that, and just like add suspension and all that shit, and like customize the fuck out of these like 50s Impalas and like, you know, old school shit, bro. And it's beautiful.
Like, yeah, that's a different monster.
Yeah.
Trust me. I've never gone that. I've repped classics, but I've never had the pleasure of building one. I've built.
I gotta link you guys up, honestly.
Like cars that, you know, are early 2000s. My own stuff, you know. I've gotten junk cars. I didn't have the pleasure of buying brand new cars when I was younger, or had my parents buy me a brand new car. So like most of us, we start off with junk and try to make it ours.
96 Nissan Maxima.
Yeah, see, I had a 2001 BMW that I bought for $1,000.
There you go. There you go.
Made it the coolest BMW on the block.
I mean, that's what you do,
kids,
bro.
that's how you know. When the kids look at you and they're like waving and they want to see your car, that's when you know you did something good. But, so I've never went as far down to customizing classics, but that's tough, dude.
Bro.
Not only do you need a lot of money, which is why most people end up giving up on their cars, like, it's just you have to know what you're doing.
No, you have to.
If you try to jump into that because you think it's fun, you're going to lose more money and you're going to make it worse.
Yeah. No, and they, like, replace all the old school shit. And like,
it's hard to get a lot of the stuff. Like, you got to know where to look.
Yeah.
And then people that specifically customize that, they're not going to be your buddy and help you out. No, you're going to pay them for their knowledge.
Bro, 100%. They're the nicest guys, but they get the work done. They do a great fucking job, yo. Great guys.
Yeah, hands to those guys, man. That's a different field, and they have my respect. That's a different world. Bro, it's a monster.
They're sick.
And those guys are badass. That's all I got to say.
They're going to be coming on the pod too soon.
I can't compare myself to people like that. They're way above.
Bro, I gotta link you guys up though.
I have a high respect for those.
No, definitely. Oh fuck, there was. Oh, I need to hear your Zen story, and then we're gonna do some real estate stuff. Let me hear the story.
My cousin, he's an electrician. I don't know if they do that a lot over there as electricians, but he was into that, and he played a funny trick on me. I don't do that, so. I was like, yeah, why not? He goes, dude, you're going to love this. He's like, put it under your lip and just enjoy. He goes, but just try not to swallow your spit a little bit. Mind you, I never did it before. I put it under my lip. I started to feel a sensation, like, you know, what that makes you feel. You're tingling everywhere. I'm like, damn. I was like, now I know why people like to do this, man. I feel good. 10 minutes later, I swallowed too much of my spit.
Oh, yeah.
Threw up.
Yeah.
And he was waiting for it. So he was monitoring me the whole time.
Yo, oh my God.
And he started dying. He goes, I'm sorry, dude, but I had to play that trick on you, dude.
So did you ever dip before? Was it dipping?
Yeah.
Bro. So when, you know, I have a little bit of a past from back in Jersey. I went to rehab and all that shit. When I was in rehab for like those 30 days, I got into dipping, bro. Like, you know, chewing tobacco and shit. Yeah. Bro. Yeah, we had so much fun because we didn't smoke in the rooms. We weren't allowed to. We just dip in the rooms, and it was so funny because the fucking, what were they called? The assistants would come in and just like, oh my God, they get so pissed because there's nothing they could do about it. We'd have our cups, you know, like they do. Oh my God, it was so much fun. Yo.
Yeah, when I did that, it just reminded me of the Sandlot, that one scene. Yeah. Everybody's all happy. I was feeling good, dude. My legs were tingling, my hands. I was like, man, I can see why people do this. 10 minutes in, I was like that kid, like throwing up. Like,
and Alec can handle it too, though. He can handle it. You're swallowing your spit, everything. You don't even like. That's why I
don't spit. I swallow.
I don't know if you heard me coughing. I swallowed just a little bit too much too, and that's where you heard. I'm a
trash cans right there, boys.
So how long does it take for your body to get used to that, or it never really does?
For me,
Josh would be a better one
to answer this. I smoke blunts, so I'm already getting a shitload of nicotine and shit through there. This is just a nice little kicker in between.
Yeah, I don't really ever get used to it, but I'm not doing it consistently either. I just do it every once in a while. But what's the milligrams on these?
These are 6s. We not bitches.
Okay. Sometimes I'll do the gum and it's like 2, and that's I can handle 2, but the 6 is a little bit much for me though.
It's like having 3 pieces of yo gum at the same
like
time.
And you do it to wake you up, right?
Honestly, yeah, bro. If I take one of
hit.
these and start a project, I'll rip through it. Like it's really crazy. It's like crack cocaine.
Damn, Alec, hold that thing back up again. Then I guess you just gave him a good shit.
Zinified.
I'm gonna do that
the
when I
only
start
thing
rapping.
you edit with. Yo, real shit.
I'll knock a project out in a day, huh?
Yo, oh my God. I remember coming over and just, bro, the level of detail you go into with each rap is crazy. Like the level of care, like, oh no, there's a little bubble here. Let me lift up, pull this, reseal.
Yeah, I think that's what makes us stand out a lot from other shops.
Wrap It Up LA, premier rapping place in Los Angeles.
Like me and my brother, we take a lot of pride in our work because we don't see it as just a revenue stream. A lot of these shops, these brand new shops, or even other shops that have been around, they really are just looking at it as a money perspective. Me and my brother have always looked at it as an art perspective.
It's a passion for you.
A passion, you know, every car that goes out, a little bit of us goes out with it. And we're proud of what we do. And in any field, that's what makes the best type of people.
1,000%.
If you're in it for the money, you're always going to fall into problems because, you know, that's just the wrong mindset. So me and my brother, you know, we really take pride in trying to make it as perfect as possible. So we will do a whole door again. We will do a whole hood again if it's not to our standard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because we're just like OCD or whatever. It's just
that might play a part of it, but it's a good part.
It might, but it's more of like a pride thing. Like, you know, I don't want this person looking at his car and be like, "Oh, this person got him."
Yeah.
No, I want them to look at this car and be like,
"This is my dream fucking car."
These guys hooked me up, man.
Yeah.
Like I want them to tell their people, and like that now that we're bringing that up, you know, we might not be Instagram famous or TikTok famous. But one thing I can brag about is we are very well known in LA, regardless of the fact.
100%.
And I'm proud of my contact book.
Yeah,
because I have some names in that contact book.
And when I bring you guys up to people, like a lot of them know who you are already.
Yeah. So just for anybody that watches this, don't let that, you know, views or followers demoralize you. Word of mouth is just as important.
More important, honestly.
More important because we get most of our work from word of mouth or from Yelp.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
And
Yelp
what
is
is
so powerful.
Yelp? It gives you a review, and that's like a word of mouth in a sense.
It is
and
it's just a digital word of mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like,
no fluff.
Don't let the viewerships or the following deter you or think you're doing something wrong. That's I think what's wrong with the youth nowadays. They need that type of validation. Man, if I could show you guys the names that I have in my phone.
Let's do it.
You'd love that.
Let's do it.
But, man, I got some names, man. I've dealt with a lot of high-profile people. This job has taken me to a lot of crazy places, not just with cars.
Is there anybody you can mention?
Sure, why not? One crazy thing, I like to mention things that don't have to do with cars because they still had to do with rap. We wrapped Mayweather's bed frame.
His bed. That's
I think he sold his house in LA because immediately after it got robbed.
Okay,
and I'm pretty sure it was an inside job.
It was you.
It was an inside job with his staff. But yeah, we wrapped his his bed frame. And how do we know? Because it was a huge mural of him with McGregor. It was right after the fight with McGregor.
Sorry, bro. That was actually my bed frame. I just wanted that.
With McGregor, it was a beautiful home. I think at the time it was worth like 25 mil.
Damn. So it was just one of those houses in the hills type thing.
One of those houses that it wasn't in the hills. It was in Beverly Hills.
Oh, different type of
different hills. Bigger money right there. If you know the area I'm talking about, different.
I can imagine where it is.
Because a lot of people, when they think about Beverly Hills, they think of like the main street or like the houses that are just right off.
The Rodeo Drive
no, there's like
houses.
little streets that nobody knows about where the houses are compounds.
Those flats, like you go off the main street and then you make another turn and then you're just
where the Beverly Hills Hotel is and stuff like that.
Bro.
He's still around here though. His jet is always parked at the Van Nuys Airport all the time.
Josh is always flying private. That's how he knows.
You got to start rolling with Josh.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's out here though. Now, how did that word of mouth happen? What can you talk about? How did you end up getting to wrap his?
That was
frame?
more due to my brother's end. I know we have a lot of word of mouth.
Mm-hmm. It's a family business.
Family business. We have a huge family, a very well-known family in West LA. So on top of that, and on top of our work, people know who we are.
Mm-hmm.
People know who we are.
Say it with your chest.
People know who we are. You like that? So yeah, it was a word of mouth thing. We did good work for somebody else, and they were connected to him. And we got that job.
I mean, that's how the best ones go, bro. I mean, that's how my best connections is a friend of a friend. That's always the best situations. Let's talk a little bit about real estate before we finish up, though.
Okay.
Talk to me. What is the LA real estate scene like right now? 1 second. Bella, yes. Loki, be quiet. We won't be able to hear it, but it's... Yeah.
You're good.
They want to be influencers. They want to be on camera.
Loki made a nice little appearance the other day.
You might be surprised how much people like to see dogs just because.
No, his clip did pretty good.
When I'm on the live and my dogs walk by, people are like, "Oh, let me see the dog." Fuck it.
How's the pup doing now?
He's no longer a pup.
Yeah, it's been what?
He's funny.
2 years old now. 3 years old now.
He's like 3 years. He's a pain in the. Honestly, I think he's like autistic or something. He never grew up being what I thought he was. You know, remember he was funny, a little weird. He stayed that way.
He never changed.
He stayed that way.
Mama's still beating him up.
Mama's still beating him up, and he doesn't learn.
Yeah,
very needy still.
Kane's still just trying to find a sunny
spot.
I
retired him, so he lives with me now.
Hell yeah, he deserves it.
He retired. I retired him because if you guys don't know my dog Kane, when I got him, when I want to say I was like 20, all he knew was the shop. That's where he lived. That's where he stayed for, 10 years? No, not 10 years. About 9 years. And then the other dog that we just mentioned didn't know how to be the beta. Didn't know how to submit. So they had a few fights.
Okay.
And I noticed that the little dog was not backing down. So I was like, I'm not going to just let them fight.
Yeah.
Kane can take the back seat. He doesn't need to be at the shop anymore.
He's been there long enough.
He's put in his years. Let me take him home. So he's a retired dog,
Good for
enjoying
him.
his bed and enjoying the civilian life.
Good for him.
No longer being a work dog.
So is it just the two of them now? Or?
It's just the two of them.
I'm sure they're doing a great job.
Yeah, they're Dobermans. And one thing I learned about Dobermans is like, according to, Google, they know how other Dobermans look like, and they're more of a wolf pack type of dog.
That's why I love Shepherds, bro.
Yeah, so I don't know if Shepherds are the same way, but Dobermans,
Similar.
if you put Dobermans with other dogs, they will go more towards themselves and stick with themselves. Why they do that, I don't know, but that's the weird thing about it. Like, they know what dog is a Doberman and what dog isn't.
Is that little section next to the shop, or I guess you guys are moving now, but that's a perfect little dog area now, I guess.
They don't even like it. They're so ungrateful. So ungrateful.
Yo, you put so much work into that.
Built them a shed, and I put the wall and everything so that there's insulation, and they don't care for it.
Bro. All right, so real estate. Talk to me about the LA scene. How's it been going for you,
man? Where do we start, man? LA it's just another ball game. I mean, LA is what it's supposed to be, I guess, what you could say, right? You're getting the riches from all around the world. So one thing I've noticed when you see the prices of homes,
it's fucking insane.
Fucking insane.
You go to the middle of Watts and it's like a $950,000 home.
Yes.
Bro, it's like, what?
I was just talking to my brother about this because where I live, it's borderline Culver City.
Okay.
But, like I was saying, LA was like every other place, They have their hoods, they have their ghettos, they have everything else. LA was not nice other than Hollywood and Beverly Hills at one point. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of places where There's houses that are 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom homes, believe it or not. And close to where I live, there's a pocket of just 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom homes. Tiny homes. And those homes go for $1.5 to $1.7 million.
Like, what is going on here?
And I was telling my brother, because it's not like it's the locals buying these.
Yeah, I'd hope some of the locals own. Like,
no, that's the sad part.
No, it's commercial. Like, yeah, I know exactly where you're going.
What I was telling my brother is like, imagine you having $1 million to spend, and it gets you middle class in LA.
Middle class.
Anywhere else,
like,
you can live nice, and you go and you come to LA and you get a 2-bedroom home.
Here's what's crazy. Even in, like, I'm from a small little town called Medford Lakes in New Jersey. Even there, my mom's house, where I think they got for like $220 or something. My parents are divorced, and my mom lives there now. It's like a $550, which is insane to think about. Like, prices all over are rising, but LA is
I'll
absolutely.
give you a crazier one. My grandpa bought the current house that my grandma lives in, because my grandpa died, rest in peace. He bought it, I think, in the 60s or 70s for $30,000. They are now offering my grandma on a monthly basis, always offering her, because they want to buy the property, because they build up now. They build like 2 buildings, 4 stories. That's what they're building there in LA now. They're offering $1.6 million. Those margins are crazy.
Wow. That's insane.
Those margins are crazy.
And the 60s weren't that long ago.
$36,000. That's how much my grandpa bought his house for.
That's crazy. See, I went in college. I had a chance. I had a pretty good job too while I was in college, and I could have bought a house in Rancho Cucamonga. You know where Rancho is. $199,000. It was like a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house in Rancho. Awesome. $199K. That same home's like 1.5, $2 million right now.
Well, it's insane. A buddy of mine who got his house in, I'll say it, you know, like Beaumont?
Yeah.
So he got a place in Beaumont in like 02 or 03 for like $200,000. It's worth a lot more now. Like,
No, yeah, like even...
And it's a bit like 6-bedroom place, like huge fucking place.
That's the thing people need to understand about what's happening in LA right now. I'm a history major, by the way. I got a degree in history. So I'm really good at looking at the past and not predicting the future. Nobody can predict the future. But
guessing trend lines.
There's trends. And what I'm seeing right now is very similar to what happened with New York. They're building up now here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm pretty sure when New York was starting to get all their high rises and their prices, people were like, I'm not buying an apartment for so-and-so amount. Now you can't get an apartment in New York. Now they're what? Like for a 2-bedroom condo, it's like $5-10 million.
Bro, think about I just know the monthly rents in New York. You can't really touch anything below $5,000 a month, and that's like for a closet. Like
same thing's gonna happen here. So as crazy as it sounds to buy here, you better buy now, or you're gonna miss out, and you're gonna be like the New Yorkers now. Like, damn, I had a chance to buy. Now I can't buy if I want it.
So this is where it gets interesting, because once I have money, I want to get a place in, like, I don't know, Idaho, somewhere super cheap where I can get a shitload of land. Something like the Palisades fire happens. Do you think the Palisade, like, I don't know the space at all. You know much better than me.
Was sad.
Oh my God, yeah. But like, how do you build up new houses even close to the size or price tag that would, you know, is it just the land there that's gonna command the new price tags? Like, because it's
land,
it'd be so expensive to build.
It's not even the houses that command the price, and any realtor will tell you that. It's literally the dirt.
That's crazy. So crazy to think about.
Like in other places, like you're saying, the house is what's unique. People don't care. Most of the houses that are being bought now get fucking flatted.
Yeah.
And they build a new one. They don't care about the house.
Damn, that's a crazy. So the fires happening might have even helped the developers, because in a weird twisted
now you're gonna
sense.
get into conspiracy theories, my friend.
Yeah.
All right. It was all intentional.
Conspiracy theories, man. Man, that's crazy. It just being in the fires. How was that for you, man? Because like, LA has its history of crazy shit, but that was probably your first. Were you here during COVID?
Bro, I came here during COVID, but that was nothing compared to the fires, because Runyon Canyon, which is I'm not going to say it, but it's right here.
The weekend before that happened.
Runyon was on fire. But, bro, my buddy has an apartment right on Runyon. Like, it's the last building on Runyon. Mm-hmm. The flames were 100 yards from his place. Ooh. Like, quite literally. Like, and he does video production, too. Like, it's tough for us to just pick up all our gear and leave. Like,
yeah, trust me, man.
Hard drives are the best you could do in that situation.
And then you hear there's no water.
Yeah.
In the hydrants.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Who knows what went on, dude?
And everybody's insurance got canceled 6 months before. No water in the hydrants. It all kind of is like, wait a minute.
It makes you
that
really
reservoir was empty.
Think what the future of LA has. Are we gonna be? Because I like to look at bigger pictures. Like I say, I have a history degree. Are we gonna be an entirely new city with a new vision, meaning like a real metropolitan place where, like a Dubai in a sense, you know, people from all around the world are just going there, you know, Singapore. We don't have cities like that in the U.S.
LA,
you can't even compare New York. I mean, New York is New York, but it's not new.
Yeah, yeah.
These cities are new, you know.
Brand new tech.
Cities in China, it's all these brand new buildings.
That's a good point.
You know, the United States doesn't have that.
All our infrastructure is what, from the 20s?
Who's going to get chose to be that place? Or where?
New York would be tough. Makes
you wonder, like, they're building these railways. They don't want gas cars. They're making cars that drive themselves. Is LA going to be the spearhead to a new generation of city?
I could see that because it is primed. New York could be much more difficult to do.
Well, yeah, because it's already built.
Exactly. We're primed.
Open.
Yeah.
Open.
And is that appealing to you? Or would you leave LA? Would you, as a local, would you leave
As a local, and I know you would answer it the same as me, we will stay here as long as we can.
Okay.
We will stay here as long as we can because this is our home.
Yes, when I travel, I do want to come back. I will admit, I want to move out of California, but every time I leave, I miss it, and I want to come back.
Yeah.
So I would want to have both, but I do want to get out of California. I do want to spot, like Alex said, I want to get out into the country and have acres.
Yeah. I want to have
My parents live in Victorville, and we have this debate. Yeah, they have a nice, like they live in this place called Spring Valley Lake.
Okay.
Private lake, private golf course, gated community. Like it's only access for them. They hate being here. And they always tell me, when you get older, your mind will change. But as of right now, like, no, this is my home. This is where I want to be. Like he's saying, when I travel, I get homesick.
You miss it.
Right away. I want to be back here.
Bro, it's funny. And you might, so.
That's what's crazy. You know, you guys move from your homes. I'm like, is it that nice to come here? But then when I leave, like, I want to go back. But it's like, damn it, I give you guys a lot of credit for leaving your homes because I could never see myself leaving.
Do you get homesick, Alec? Do you ever want to go back, the opposite of what he's saying?
I'll be straight up. I was a train wreck over there. I made a lot of money doing whatever the fuck I was doing, but I was a train wreck and a half. So when I moved out here, it was a new start for me. And from a business perspective, and that's what I'm all about, you can't have this in Philly. You don't run into people. Who are you going to run into? Meek Mill? And if that, like, that's one person. You realize if we go to Runyon, we'll run into fucking two people every fucking day that we could turn into a connection. Every day you could do that. Yeah. Minimum of two people.
That's what I love about LA too, because let me tell you a little backstory on my family. My grandpa was from Mexico. Both my parents were born here. Cause my grandpa he had like 12 kids.
Big family.
Big family. My dad was at the end of the 12. So when he had my dad, my grandpa was already old. So I think my grandpa came here World War II during the Braceros program.
Okay.
That was a program when they started letting Mexicans come in because there was not enough men here because they shipped them all off to war.
Women just weren't doing the cutting.
And they just couldn't, so they needed help. I mean, you could read this in your history books and talk about it. So he came through that program, and for every year you worked, you were allowed to bring somebody over.
Okay.
So my grandpa, having a lot of kids, he didn't bring his wife. He brought the oldest son.
Okay.
He brought his oldest son, and he was allowed to work. And Now you have 2 people you can bring.
Oh.
And they brought another son.
Okay.
So then by the 3rd year, you could just bring everybody.
Yeah.
And, my grandpa is like held up to a higher standard in our family because he died a millionaire.
After
with properties in Cheviot Hills. We call that the Little Beverly Hills.
Okay.
And properties in Cheviot Hills. An immigrant. He died a millionaire. Good restaurants, real estate. That's how he got rich. Restaurants and real estate. Damn. So we look at him like, man, that guy he was a G.
My great grandfather was similar in that, or great uncle, I guess, was my grandmother's brother. He started. There was a pharmaceutical company called Merck. He started cleaning the monkey cages, just doing that, and he eventually worked his way up to vice president of sales. And it's just those stories that are like, that's the motivation, that's the inspiration that I fucking. So
yeah, I feel like we have an entrepreneurial spirit, me and my family.
Exactly.
So we love business, and for that reason, a lot of my family members have never I've never held a real job. If you want to, because I get that thrown at me a lot. I've never had a real job. Because I really haven't. I've never.
But why would you? Why would you?
But that's what I try to tell people. Like, my grandpa did what he did, so we wouldn't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
He showed us the way, and a lot of people don't. It's true. If you don't see the way, it's really hard to learn it.
Bro, I did corporate America for like 2 years 2 or 3 years until COVID happened. I was an executive level recruiter, and I wanted to fucking off myself every fucking day. Like, it's not meant for everybody.
Like, you see my Instagram.
Yeah.
I show you everything that's happening outside, and everybody's always like, how are you around all these places? Dude, because this is my life.
Yeah. No, and everything seems to happen around that corner. I don't have like this 9 to 5 where I got to go to a desk and sit there every day for the 8
last
hours
10 years.
Straight.
No, I'm outside. Sometimes I got to go to Hollywood. Sometimes I got to go to Burbank. Sometimes I got to go to downtown. I'm not leaving all the time, but I'm not inside. And I would hate to be inside.
I love being inside too, but I love the ability to fucking.
Yeah, it's different when you have to be inside. If you want to be inside, that's just your spirit.
Yeah.
But if you have to be inside because you're working.
But no,
I can't stand being inside.
The ability to work for yourself, and if you want to move up, you fucking work your ass off and move up. It's not relying on a corporate structure that just.
Not relying on a corporate structure, and you are the only person to blame.
Exactly. You have to take all the blame.
That's another hard thing when you try to have friends. When you work for corporate, you can tell your boss, "Oh, I'm going to go on vacation."
Yeah.
When you work for yourself, it don't work that way. People think like, "Oh yeah, you can make your own hours." You can, but there's nobody there to do the work that you have. So, yeah, you can just drop your things,
and you come back to that exact same pile.
Come back to that exact same thing, and now you're behind.
Yep, exactly.
People don't get that. They really just look at what they think a successful business, but they don't know what it is to build one up.
Yeah.
That's the tough part. That's why most people don't want to get into business, because they're scared to be alone.
That's a good way to put it.
That's what it is, like most jobs, you do what you do, you clock out, somebody else will pick up what you left for the most part.
You're scared to take that risk.
And when you're on your own, nobody's doing that job for you. You break something, you got to buy it.
Yeah, real shit.
You make that mistake, you got to tell the client what you did. Those are the tough parts, dude.
I've had that conversation with you guys one time. I was like, yo, guys, I don't know what to tell you here. I'm really sorry. I shot this in the wrong format. It only happened one time.
No, that's like
I shot it in the wrong format.
I couldn't compared to like when you're working on an expensive car,
$10,000 job,
and you mess something up, and you're like, "Oh my goodness, I can't even afford to pay this."
You nicked the Rolls Royce door. Sorry for the technical disturbance. Josh, what was the question you just said?
Well, it's kind of a sensitive subject, and it just reminded me though of your amazing story and like immigrants and everything, and we're having all these problems now with like the illegal immigrants and the ICE and everything. And do you have your take on that? I mean, and we don't have to talk about it if you don't.
No. Well, at the end of the day, we can
always cut.
Edit it out. Well, how about you ask me a question so that I can.
Well, one specific thing that came to mind is, I mean, there's so many immigrants and Mexican families that are so well off and that have done so well. and you say immigrant, right? And that's fine. Immigrant is fine. Illegal immigrant may be a little bit of a problem, but also criminal illegal immigrant is a problem. Do you where do you sit with, like, say, a criminal illegal immigrant being ripped away from their family? Are we being insensitive to that?
That's a good question. It depends on how you define. Well, it's not how you define criminality, but I think we can all agree that what the law is just doesn't constitute what's right or wrong. For example, marijuana was illegal.
Great example.
Now it's legal. You know, in certain parts of the state, you can own guns or a certain type of guns. Certain states, you can own certain type of guns. Others, you can't. So the law doesn't always justify what's right or wrong. It's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. But if we're talking about real crime where we can all be like, yeah, that's pretty bad.
It's a bad crime right there.
It's a bad crime. Yeah, I mean, any criminal, legal or not, they're going to be taken away from their family. You can't be free if you commit a crime. Mm-hmm. So that's I think the whole issue, if I could give my opinion on this whole issue, is that there's just a big miscommunication and misunderstanding on this whole situation. And why I say that is because people that grew up in LA, we've always been in a boiling pot, meaning we've always been around other cultures. So LA culture, and it's like this in other cities, we have our own flavor. You know, an LA person, you can't drop them in Mexico and they'll fit in. It's a different culture. Yeah. You can't drop a Mexican in LA. It's a different culture. And people that don't live here, you know, people in middle America or in the East Coast, they don't understand that.
100%.
So they don't understand what it's like living next to people that don't look like you, that don't eat like you know, but we do. It's normal. So illegal or legal or not, you grow up with these people and they are your family. And, you know, it's easy to say when you don't know the person, like, oh, yeah, they're illegal, they got to go.
It's just a number or like a...
That's one way to create a huge problem. Because one thing that's always going to trump over laws is morality. So there's a way to do things and there's a way to not to do things.
I completely agree there, bro.
And the disconnect is both in the people from LA and both from people not from LA. There needs to be a dialogue more than there is just this back and forth of what's happening.
And there should probably be a better system to become legal. Right now it's tied up for years, right? And it's like, shouldn't we just update the computers to where you could just go online and just submit and within days rather than months or years become a legal citizen? It's just like, that's what's crazy to me.
Well, look, I think we can all agree that it's being held up for a reason. It's a talking point for the politicians.
Yeah.
It doesn't want to get fixed.
Yeah, that's a really good point,
It doesn't want to get fixed. It's the truth.
They're just going to keep getting paid off of those topics.
And you know how things work. I think we all are starting to understand how things work. Politicians make their money off of nonprofits.
And donations.
Homelessness, immigration, anything that they can get their hands off of. Why would they fix it? If their millionaire, billionaire friends can just be like, I'll donate to your nonprofit. Nobody's really checking out those nonprofits. Oh, I'll take half, put it in my bank.
100%, bro.
And then it's a free cash cow.
And we can talk about the military.
So the systems aren't going to get fixed because why would they be?
And the military is a perfect example too, because like these defense contracts are just exorbitant to say the least. You know, like it's the same just system repeated over and over again. It's got to get fixed. It's got to get fixed. It's got to get changed.
Enough of all that. Sports.
Josh goes heavy.
Sports.
So
let's end on a high note.
You're a Dodgers fan, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
Okay. What other sports do you? Baseball. I'm not very well versed in.
My two big sports are combat sports and basketball. So the UFC and boxing, love it. Basketball, my first love.
Okay. That basketball was the first sport I played too.
First love.
I hate to go back, but I want to say you're a Dodger fan. Wasn't that so cool? The girl sang the
the national anthem.
Oh my God, that was so cool.
She stood on business, man, and
loved it so much.
We're gonna see how the Dodgers kind of try to save face because they've been doing that a little bit.
They kicked him out. They kicked him out the other day.
They kicked her out, and then
oh no, not her, but they kicked.
Well, they did kick. They banned her, and then apparently they unbanned her.
Like, no, too much public backlash.
Yeah, and then they did the ice thing, but I've heard that people said that was more of a.
That was for the TV.
Yeah,
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense too. Yeah, no.
Who knows, man? Right here, this is ground zero. This is the Cold War right here. Nobody knows. It's like that Spider-Man. Like,
exactly, bro.
Nobody knows who's who, but it shouldn't be this way, you know? All it really needs is good dialogue. People just don't want to talk to each other right now.
What's your take on Bronny?
The biggest waste of $1 million. Oh. I'll tell you why. We watched the playoffs, right?
Just a little bit.
I watched the playoffs religiously, and I really thought the Lakers. I don't know if I would say that they had a chance to take it all the way, but I thought that they had a good chance of making it to the Western Conference Finals. Not only did I think that they were very undercoached, I think the coach had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
He just didn't know JJ Redick, new coach. I don't think he knew how to do what he was supposed to do, and I mean, he was his first year, so obviously he's going to get out-coached. But we were out-talented in terms of we didn't have a deep bench.
Oh, okay.
And why don't we have a deep bench? Because we're paying too much money to the top people.
LeBron, Luka.
James. Luka's worth it.
Is he?
He's worth the money.
Okay.
At least for right now.
He ain't 280, or is he 280?
But
280 pounds.
Yeah. No, I don't think he would be that heavy.
I saw this was back when he was traded. I think he was like 280 or something.
That's heavy. Regardless of how
Luka Doncic.
Oh, he might be. Yeah, he might be 280.
He was 280 like
that's
before the trade or something like that.
He has to.
That's a big boy.
But like I'm saying, we already have the salary cap. LeBron's taking way too much. The reason why I say Bronny is the biggest waste of $1 million is because at that point, when you have these superstars that are taking the majority of the salary, every dollar counts now.
Yeah.
That $1 million that we gave to Bronny and he didn't play a minute, or at least he's not worth talking about.
Yeah.
It could have went to somebody who wanted more money that we could have acquired to help the team.
Well said.
But it turns political at that point then, right? Like they want to do that for the numbers. Maybe people will view it because it's like, oh, it's LeBron's, you know.
It was definitely a media stunt, you know, a son plays with his dad.
Which is crazy to think about in all reality.
Yeah.
Are you going to go for a championship contention, or do you want to
go for the views?
You know, go for the views. Like, obviously, we didn't have enough manpower. We didn't have enough people to shoot, bring up the ball, or play defense. That's where that money comes to play. You know, you gave him $1 million. It could have went to a bigger contract for somebody that wanted more money. Look at Alex Caruso. We had Alex Caruso. He's in the finals now, 1 game away from winning the finals.
And he's contributing.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't make as much money, though, if they win a championship as opposed to if they get so many views and sell out the stadium and sell out the, you know, then they're selling merch and then they're making all that money.
But I'll tell you this. I see where you're going with this, and you're completely right.
But I'm not taking that side. I'm just saying.
The Los Angeles fan base is relentless. We don't care about how much they want.
Yeah.
We want our championship.
Yeah.
Do not play with our championship. The quickest way to get booted out of LA when you're on the team, don't give us a championship.
Okay.
We will turn our backs on you.
Okay.
So I see what he's saying. It's for the money. Don't play with us.
You think LeBron stays?
I hope he leaves.
Okay. What about what do you think of like SGA and what's his fucking name? The Knicks kid.
Halliburton.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, not Indiana's kid. The Knicks kid.
Oh, I love
Brunson or whatever.
Jalen Brunson. Oh, I love Jalen Brunson, bro.
New cream of the crop.
Man, I was
NBA.
rooting for him, man. I was sad when he went. You know, I think when we see players like LeBron or a lot of the bigger players that are just physically gifted, we forget how good people are at the game of basketball. Because if you have somebody like LeBron James, and I'm not taking credit away from him.
Well, he's also been on top for the last 20 years.
How do you stop somebody that big? He'll just run over you. But when you're somebody small, like Jalen Brunson or Stephen Curry,
Steph's just...
You need to have the skill to maneuver these type of big guys and still dominate. Those are the type of people I give my credit to, because you need a lot more skill to do what they do than to do what LeBron James does. Because LeBron was born with what he has.
And came out of high school with what he has, pretty much. Like,
yeah, he was ready for the league like at 16.
Middle school.
Yeah. But guys like Jalen and Steph, they really had to perfect their craft because they're physically not gifted.
Yeah.
These guys can't slam.
They're just normal
dudes.
These
guys can't. They're
not normal dudes,
well,
but
they're normal dudes in that sense.
Yeah.
They're not normal because of their mindset and work ethic.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what made them stand out.
So that's why I like players like Jalen Brunson and Steph Curry, because those guys revolutionized the game because they show us a different way to be played. Because we can't play like LeBron. LeBron's LeBron because he was born with his ability.
Insane genetics.
So you can't play the way LeBron does. Mm-hmm. But you can play the way they do if you really want to. If you put in the time, if you want to shoot as many shots as they shoot, you can because you're built like they are.
Do you ever get tired of the comparison between LeBron James and Michael Jordan type stuff? Do you guys ever get tired of that? Do you have thoughts on that?
I was too young for the Jordan era, to be honest with you. So, like...
But you've seen them all.
Yeah, I was too young too, but like I'm saying, basketball is my first love. I know everything about Jordan. There is no comparison. There is a comparison in some steps. Like what I always say is if you want to talk about overall great, talking about defense, stealing, passing, LeBron James is the best overall.
Yeah.
But we don't care about overall. We care about who's going to get you that W.
You're not wrong
Who's going to get you that W? Michael Jordan. And that's just the way it is. So, like, it might not sound fair. He is the greatest overall player, but we don't care about that. We care about who we can rely on when it's Game 7, there's 3 seconds on the clock, and we need somebody to shoot that ball.
That's goosebumps right there.
Yeah, and when you put it that way, it's hard to,
it comes down to.
It's hard to disagree with.
Like, yeah, LeBron James is a really good passer. Yeah, he's a really good blocker.
Do you know anything about college ball? Top 5 picks.
Bit.
Do you know Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper?
No.
So they're my dad went to Rutgers and was very close to the program.
Rutgers, huh?
So didn't play for them, but went there.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, I went to all the games, football and basketball, and like that was part of my childhood type shit.
That's cool.
But Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, 2 freshmen on the team last year, and apparently they're going like pick 2 and 5-ish. Wow. So I just want to get your opinion on them, but
yeah, I don't know too much. Well, now that you brought up your dad, if this is the ending. When you brought your dad to my shop.
Oh, yeah.
When you brought your dad to my shop, man, he made me feel so good, man. There's very little times where people look at what we do, and they'll always be in awe. But your dad was just in awe.
He always was brings like, you guys up, too.
You guys are artists, man. I was like, yeah. I try to, like, we try to play it cool. Like, yeah, it's cool. He's like, no. You guys are artists.
There you go.
I was like, man, thank you, man. Like, if there's something that makes us feel good, it's that.
Bro, when I said it.
People can see past the car.
Yeah.
And they see the work. And they see what we do. Because he spent 2 days there with you.
Yeah.
So he got to see what we do.
He saw the whole process.
So that really made me feel good. And I always think about that. And I always think about your dad. And I'm like, man.
Nah, next time.
I can never forget that.
Next time he comes out here, we'll all go to dinner or some shit.
I would love that.
Hell yeah. I had one more question. What was it? Fuck. Yes. If you were going to be the GM of the Lakers, who are you adding to it? Who are you getting rid of? And we can end with this.
You know, I talk to this same scenario with my brothers all the time because we're similar in mindsets, but when it comes to basketball, everybody has who they like.
I mean, he's a Drake fan. That's all you got to know.
And I'm a Kendrick fan.
Of course.
Literally who I was with in high school, dude. Kendrick was the shit in high school.
It's okay. I'm like YG
right
in
now?
the game.
If I could get rid of LeBron and right now,
frees up a lot of cap space.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm trying to use my words correctly. Who would fit well with Luka?
Shooter, maybe?
No. You want somebody that would... You want a big.
Okay.
Because Luka's going to be on the outside. Luka doesn't really like to take it in unless he has to. So I would say Giannis.
Okay.
If we got Giannis, we'd win.
What about Kyrie or someone like that?
Well, he played with Kyrie.
Oh, shit. Well, LeBron played... wait, Luka?
LeBron.
Oh, Luka did for like a year or two in Dallas.
Kyrie got injured. So we don't know how good that would have went. He made it.
He's also getting old.
He made it to the finals without Kyrie. So imagine if Kyrie was there. But no, I think Kyrie's towards the end of his career.
I agree.
So I would pick Giannis, or I would pick... honestly, this might be controversial, but I would probably pick Brunson again because he played with Brunson.
Did he?
He did. They had a very good team when they first started off, but that's the problem with GMs or the front desk. They don't want to give the players time to kind of build.
Yeah.
So they had a very good team. Brunson was there, Luka was there, and that other guy Porzingis was there. So that's a championship team.
That's a team right there.
They just didn't give him time.
I mean, do you remember the Thunder back in the day with
scenario.
Harden, Durant, and who else was it? Westbrook. Yeah, brought Westbrook. What happened to him?
You know, that happens in basketball when you lose your confidence. And it happens a lot because I played street ball for years too. There was guys that were just really good, and then they lose their confidence. Once your confidence is gone,
it's shot.
You just can't play no more. And I don't know what it is. It's like a cancer in basketball. Like when you lose your confidence, even doing the best thing you could do, you just lose it.
Because he was on top of the world when Durant was there.
On top, he was getting triple doubles. He was a force. Now you just hope he can give you 10 points.
That's crazy. But yeah, we're running out of time here. Brother, it's been fucking great having you on. And I'm going to have you back on. We're going to talk like just real estate on that one. Yeah. Where can they find you at? Tell them where to find the shop at.
Well, the shop's Instagram is wrapitup_LA. My personal is Mr. West LA. I forgot how. Let me get that.
It'll be in the description as well.
Okay. Let me see what it is. I don't know why I didn't. Oh, Mr. West LA _. That's mine, and that's my same one for TikTok. And the shop's is the same for TikTok as well. So those two, if you want a more in-depth of what the shop looks like, follow those pages. If you want to follow me personally, follow my page. And yeah, you're going to like what you see. I think I'm pretty entertaining.
Guys, go follow both of those pages. All of them, actually. All four of them.
All of them.
The best wrappers in Los Angeles. If you need your car wrapped, if you need your house wrapped, if you need your headboard wrapped.
Kitchen cabinets.
Go to Wrap It Up LA.
Your door, your safe.
All of it.
All of it.
Your condoms.
We could wrap it. We could wrap it. Call us.
There we go.
Call us.
Bro, it's been a pleasure.
Same, man.
Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate you, boss.
Appreciate you.
It's a pleasure.